Hi, my name is Ashley Alva, and today I'm going to talk to you about a program that I designed called Placid Pointe, and this is going to take you on a peaceful path to better living. The mission of this program is for college students diagnosed with anxiety disorders to engage in opportunities that minimize their anxiety symptoms and enhance their physical and emotional well-being, while also promoting the development of healthy coping skills and healthy interpersonal relationships. And we want to create an environment that is safe and accepting for everyone that struggles with anxiety or the abuse of the medication that helps with the symptoms. So here's my logo. I chose this because I think that it's a good representation of the type of environment that we're going to have at Placid Pointe. It's fun, but it's elegant enough to appeal to young adults, and it's also simple enough to not overwhelm anyone, which is good for this population. It shows it's an outdoor retreat, and I just feel like the splash of color, the orange, just gives it some vibrancy, and orange is a color that has a lot of good energy associated with it, so I thought it was a good choice. Why is this important to me? Well, as a college student, I have dealt firsthand with the anxiety that comes with being in college, and I also have my own personal experience with addiction to anti-anxiety medication since I was diagnosed with anxiety when I was 15. So this is something that I've had experience with, and I just feel like every student needs help with managing the stress that comes with being thrown into college life, and people that have anxiety before that need all the more help. Some rationale. I want to develop this program because I feel like this population can be neglected just due to the perception of what's acceptable behavior in college. People tend to have addiction overlooked. Just a quick statistic. The National Institute of Drug Abuse reported that young adults are the biggest abusers of prescription opioid pain relievers, ADHD stimulants, and anti-anxiety drugs. And I just want to give these people that are unaware of the stressors that come with college life the skills they need to handle them. The model program that I was using was the STAR program. This takes place in Kenyon Ranch in Tucson, Arizona. It's a 10-day retreat, and they address anxiety as well as depression, PTSD, grief, and loss, a lot of different things. They offer group therapy, written assignments, therapeutic lectures, guided imagery sessions, breathing exercises, an art room, and just free time for relaxation. My hypothesis of etiology: college students diagnosed with anxiety at an early age are more likely to misuse or abuse their medication in order to cope with stress, emotional pain, or to facilitate social interaction amongst their new peers, and they are also more likely to be diagnosed with addiction and other mental disorders throughout the rest of their lives. My hypothesis of intervention: if college students diagnosed with anxiety and prescribed medication to treat it are given healthy coping skills, an alternative support system, and the strategies to use when dealing with the stresses of college, then they will likely report a decrease in dependence on their medication, decreased rates of stress, greater levels of healthy social interaction, and greater levels in their confidence to successfully maintain their anxiety throughout their college career and the rest of their lives. So my goals and objectives. First goal is for college students with anxiety to report an improvement in their emotional well-being and greater levels of confidence to cope with stress. By 2017, for 75% of participants to report a decrease in the abuse or misuse of their medication as a way to cope with stress or emotional pain, and this will be measured by a standardized measure. Second goal is for college students with anxiety to experience acceptance and belonging in an environment that facilitates healthy social interaction. And the objective for this one is by 2016 for 100% of participants to report an increase in their development of healthy interpersonal relationships and a decrease in the unhealthy social interaction that they take part in. And this will be measured by the clinical anxiety scale. Third goal is to provide a safe and caring environment in which anyone struggling with an anxiety disorder or the abuse to medication can come to and feel at ease and feel at home. The objective to match this is by the completion of the program for 100% of participants to report a sense of belonging and relaxation while engaging in the program. And this will be measured by the client satisfaction questionnaire. So some elements of my program. We're going to offer group therapy. This is an outpatient program. It'll take place over 4 days. We offer group therapy just to give them a sense of community and help them express themselves. Individual assessments to just see where they are in their lives and what caused them to be here in the first place. Educational workshops over the effects of the medication, how to deal with stress, different aspects of college like test anxiety, things like that. We're going to offer art, music, and other therapeutic tools, like pottery classes, painting classes. And we're also going to offer outdoor recreation just to provide them with a healthy way to escape the stresses of their days. And this is going to be like running and hiking trails, yoga, swimming, kayaking, basketball, soccer, volleyball, all those kinds of sports. So in order to be eligible, you need to be a college student, ages 18 to 25. Doesn't matter what kind of college you're enrolled in. You also need to be diagnosed with an anxiety or panic disorder by a licensed physician, whether it's a doctor or a counselor, it does not matter. They just have to be licensed. And it is preferred that they are prescribed anxiety medication, but it's not a requirement. And each retreat will serve around 40 people. On to the staff. The first person that we're going to have employed is the program director, and they're going to oversee the entire retreat. They're basically the person that runs everything. They ensure all volunteers are trained, all schedules are prepared and carried out, and they address any severe cases of conflict. A bachelor's degree in a related field is required for that position. Next is the volunteer staff coordinator. They select and supervise all staff and volunteers, and they tend to any of their needs. So this will be the first person that they turn to if they ever have issues. And then this volunteer coordinator will either handle the problem themselves or report it to the program director. You need a high school diploma or a GED for this position, and you need previous leadership experience. Next is the therapist or counselor. They will conduct the individual assessments and the group therapy sessions. They'll help mediate any issues of conflict. They will supervise the educational workshops also. They need a bachelor's degree and a licensure as a professional counselor, and they also need experience in the clinical field. Next is the chef. They prepare all the meals, and you don't need an education for this, you just need previous experience. Next is the art instructor. They run all the art or music classes. We just need this person to have a positive attitude, so that way they can encourage participants to express themselves. A bachelor's degree in artistic field is encouraged but not required, and people with experience are very encouraged to required, especially if they can read or play music. That would be great. So volunteers. At first we're going to start with 10 volunteers, and they're going to be the heart of the program. They hold most of the responsibility for the experience that the participants have there, so it's a pretty big job. 2 of the participants will be given to the staff, and first aid and CPR training is required for all staff and volunteers, as well as an informational informational meeting before each retreat takes place. So my measures, the first one is going to be the clinical anxiety scale. This is going to be a measure of their anxiety symptoms. It's a standardized measure with 25 questions, and they rate 25 statements, and they rate each statement from 1 to 5, 1 being commonly and 5 being rarely. It is going to be given as a pre-test and a post-test, just so we can measure any changes that occurred thanks to our services, hopefully. And some questions included would be, or statements would be, I feel confident about the future, I feel relaxed and in control of myself, and I am free from senseless or unpleasant thoughts. Next is the client satisfaction questionnaire, which evaluates their satisfaction with our services. It's a standardized measure with 8 questions, and they rate each from 1 to 4, 1 being the worst rating and 4 being the best. We're going to be giving this as a post-test, which allows us to collect their responses after we've applied our services. Some questions from this would be, did you get the kind of service you wanted, and to what extent did our program meet your needs? So grant funding, the grant that I'm going to be applying for is the Behavioral and Integrative Treatment Development Program grant, which is provided by the National Institute of Health. It provides a 3-year funding ceiling, which gives $250,000. And we qualify because a program can be completed in that time. And we are a community-based program, so we meet the population requirement. Some of our program elements that qualify are the fact that we target substance abuse, we focus on stage 1 intervention generation, and we focus on the development of moderators, mediators, or changing mechanisms. So here's the budget table. Grant total was only $146,400, so I had quite a bit left over. Most of it went to the facility, rent, the salaries, and the food. And future growth and plans. I just really hope to expand on both the state and regional level within the next 10 to 15 years. Since I did have $103,000 left over, I would put $30,000 of it in an emergency fund, and the rest would go towards next year. And just other service elements that I would like to add would be gardening, ropes course, meditation classes. I would like to bring animals into the therapeutic tools part of the program. And I would also like to bring on a nutritional expert that can give individual assessments to people telling them what foods to avoid or what type of activity to engage in to help manage their symptoms. And here are my references. Thank you.